I bet you've Googled this question if you've ever thought about studying architecture. Well, I did too, right before my first year. I finished my first year of studying architecture in one of the top 20 unis in the world, so let me save you some time and tell you everything you need to know about architecture school whilst I draw some urban sketches. First off, I'll tell you a backstory of how I started my architecture journey. I wanted to do architecture since I was in year 11, and because I had a talent for art and I really liked aesthetic placement and colors, it was the only profession that I could ensure that I could keep my creativity thriving in a career, because it's always been a huge passion of mine. Later on in year 12, I talked to an architect that I knew and she told me how challenging architecture would be. And I researched a lot about architecture through YouTube, articles, research, and books, and everyone said it was challenging and I should not do it. But it didn't scare me away and instead made me want to do it more, because I like challenging myself and honestly, I'm really stubborn. After finishing my HSC, I got offers from UNSW, UCID, and UTS, all in Bachelors of Architecture. I chose UNSW because it was the most suitable for architecture and was the top university out of all three in ranking. Now, don't think after this first year of architecture, I had no challenges or was always wanting to do it. There were times where I wanted to literally drop out of uni or swap degrees. So let me tell you exactly what the myths are and the reality of architecture. The first one is that architecture is hard. It is not hard. If you have a passion for it and a drive to study architecture, the only thing is hard is that it's tedious, detail-orientated, and it needs organization. It's not a degree that you can be lazy with or use AI to easily complete, so it requires some actual passion and effort, and I would say people say it's hard because they are lazy. The second myth is that architecture is just about drawing and designing buildings. It's not. Architecture is about selling your ideas and your solutions with it, with designing being the language part. Yes, drawings and designing buildings are a part of it, but it's not the sole focus. You create a narrative that is interpreted into a building which solves a certain dilemma. Number 3. You need to be good at maths and physics. No, you don't. I absolutely hate physics to my core, and math is also something that I hate as well, and there's no real heavy maths or physics subjects in UNSW. There's only like a very minor few questions here and there, but they are really easy to learn, and honestly, me not having a very good math background or physics background, it was very, very manageable. Number 4. Architecture students never sleep. This is only true if you have bad time management and don't keep deadlines in mind. I have never pulled an all-nighter or having less than 4 hours of sleep or slept past 2 a.m. doing work. Managing your time and tasks is so important. This should never be something that you neglect for the sake of a degree, and sleep is extremely important because the more sleep you have, the more that your body can function to its fullest potential. Number 5. You won't have any social life and free time. This is all about time management again. If you keep on top of things, you will definitely have time to hang out with friends or go out occasionally. Now, this doesn't mean that you can party every weekend or every day, but it means that you need to keep on top of your things in order for it to happen. You can't leave it alone and expect some time to free up just for you to go out with your friends. And finally is that you need to be good at drawing. Drawing isn't the most important aspect in architecture. Sure, it helps, but as we mentioned before, architecture is also about solving problems, communication, and presentation skills, as well as many other skills that aren't drawing. You could have the best graphic representation in your presentations, but if you can't speak well about it or present it well, then you will lose marks. Having better communication and solving skills is a lot more important than a crazy graphic representation. Okay, now we've broken some myths, and now it's time for me to tell you things that no one tells you about until you actually are in the degree. Number 1 is carrying your fat models on public transport to your final presentation. This is literally one of the most embarrassing things at first because you just made your first ever model and now you have to go on public transport to bring it all the way to uni. So let me tell you some tips to avoid this. One thing is you can make them on campus in your studios. Or it's actually not even that bad. You can get really fun conversations out of it. Like for example, one time there was this 91-year-old man who was a civil engineer and he saw my model and he came up to me and talked to me And honestly, that conversation was really, really wonderful to have. And he talked about me about studying hard and other things that like come with your model is that people even compliment it as well. Like I've had multiple people just say like, "Oh, nice house," or "That looks really cool." Another way is to break your model into rough pieces so it's smaller in size and then you can put it into a bag. If your model seems really big, what you can do is just make the larger main parts and then glue it once you get to the studio. Okay, the second thing is that materials and printing will be expensive, but be smart with your purchases and save. Printing is one of the canon events in architecture if you're a student, and you will spend probably 70% of your time printing and making sure that things print right or things like that. So let me tell you some tips. For tracing paper, when you buy tracing paper for, your degree, you can buy parchment paper or baking paper. It does the exact same thing and is way, way cheaper, and there's literally no difference. Another tip is that try to save materials if you can. Let's say you finished your model and you have some leftover wood or some leftover balsa somewhere around. Make sure to save it because you could reuse that piece. And another thing is to use your university printer, which is much cheaper than like printers that you would find outside or from other companies because they give you student discounts. Which brings on to my other point is that make sure to bring your student ID around. If you're buying like materials from other shops, art shops, make sure to show them your ID and show that you're a student and you would definitely get discounts. I have bought like little people, like 1 to 100 people models, and I show my discount and it's pretty good. I got 10% off and it goes from like quite a lot of money down as well. So another thing is that your tutors and judges will draw on your prints or draw over your sketches, so be prepared. Don't be too attached to your prints or your models because sometimes after presentation or during presentation, they might use a marker and draw over it or try to change something. And yes, it's so sad, but you spent money and that's just how it is sometimes. It's a way for them to show you exactly how they mean when they're giving you feedback, and don't take it to heart because this is a canon event as well, so don't worry. I've seen like one of the most brutal things happen inside the studio. Like one time this guy spent so much time on his model and the teacher said it would have been better if you didn't make the model at all, and oh my gosh, it was so sad. And another time, the teacher literally swore and said like, this is complete BS. It's pretty sad, but just try not to have any emotional attachment. Like you can connect and be passionate, but that doesn't mean you have to have complete attachment to your pieces because they are in the end just projects for your uni. And another thing is that studying architecture is meaning to be an engineer, plumber, construction worker, economist, lawyer, business seller, graphic designer. It's so diverse in skills and we don't just draw. You learn so many skills. And one of the most important skills that I learned personally is learning how to talk to people. For my presentations, my first presentation went horribly, and I did not know how to speak or how to present any ideas. There was a lot of just like not being sure of what to say. But afterwards, after my first year, I've had so many improvements in how I talk and in general just to people as well. So that skill is something that I would never ever have without studying architecture. And another final thing is that once you start learning architecture, every single building you look at will start to analyze or take photos of because it looks cool. Ever since I studied architecture, I've constantly been looking at different cool facades on buildings I see around me, or materials, or window shapes. You just see the world in a different lens once you study architecture, and it doesn't go away. But it's not a bad thing, honestly. It's honestly really cool, and you can tell people about the knowledge that you learned, and it's something that only us architects can have. Okay, here is my overall advice and what I learned after my years of architecture. Don't compare yourself to other people and use your own growth as your own journey. You will always see architecture projects or people getting better marks than you. This is your life, your journey. The best thing to do is to compare yourself to what you used to get, what you improved on, and move on from there. Everyone is different and there's no point of dragging yourself by comparing yourself to other people who have way different skill sets than you. And everyone is special at something that others might not be. I remember I walked into my first studio and my drawings were great, but my model making was not. And I saw so many people making the most amazing model, and I was like comparing myself a lot. And it brings down your self-esteem. And I realized in my presentations that some people are skilled and that's okay. You can use your strength to your advantage, and that doesn't mean you have to pull yourself down just because someone naturally has an advantage over you. My second advice is don't pull all-nighters, just go to sleep. If your bedtime is going to be past midnight, you need to manage your time better. You need to prioritize sleep because once you have sleep, a lot of people just don't realize that how important sleep is for your body. And with full sleep, your body can think at its maximum potential. It all starts with your body, and this isn't a joke. Like what you eat in your body will also affect how you work or function throughout the day. And another advice is grades don't matter as much as you think. Just try your best. Once you graduate from your degree, no one, and I mean no one, will look at your marks. Interviewers will just look at whether you have the relevant degree or not. Not everything is academically validated, and I know exactly how that feels because in high school, I used to work really, really hard in academic things and make sure that my marks were above 90. And during uni, architecture was so hard that I would get marks like in 70s or 80s or 60s. And it was honestly scary, but once you adjust to it, it's completely fine. A good tip in studios is to work together with your tutor. Ask questions, get engaged with them so they know you exist. It will definitely give them more of an impression of you and lead them to liking you more. And if you're curious, ask for feedback and be nice to them. It's not being a teacher's pet, it's just being smart, and it isn't just a skill in architecture, but in life too. And another advice is always save your progress when you're 3D modeling or using digital software. Learn from me. I was in my finals for term 3 and my laptop crashed and I didn't save it. I had to restart from the exact beginning and it was so annoying and one of the worst moments of my life because it was like literally due in 2 days and everything was gone. And it was terrible. So make sure to put in a timer or reminders to save everything on your modeling because once it's gone, it's not coming back. Keep your presentation boards with a story and don't dump all of your drawings on. Make a story and a narrative that you can follow whilst you present on your presentation day. All assessments in architecture will come with a checklist and things that you need to do. They might say give 3 plans, 2 sections, 4 elevations. Yes, you need to do these, but when you present, create a story on your panels. I'll show you one of mine. What I started with is site analysis, concept massing spaces, and then I went into these types of things that presenting is part of you telling a story and selling your idea. This is specifically what a 10-year-old experienced architect, well, not 10 years old, but experience of 10 years in architecture. He told me that you need to start your presentation off with your site analysis and then go into how you made your concept. Use a massing diagram to show how your project formed and then go into your building spaces, what they're for, why they were made that way, and how does it connect to your concept. Always use your model with your hands and plans, and just drawing will help you explain. They aren't there to sit and look pretty. You need to interact with your prints and your models to make sure that you understand properly what everything is. And one of my last final advices is to start your projects early. With my projects in studio, I always spend a lot of time thinking of what I actually want to make, and then the part of getting the plans, elevation sections is a lot faster than that. So as a perfectionist, design is always a very hard part for me. Once I get the design part down, everything else starts flowing. So always start with brainstorming ideas and getting your idea down first because it takes the most time. Try to do it at least a week, a week or 2 weeks to make sure that you have an idea of what you want to do rather than thinking of that later. And the question, is architecture actually worth it? And I say 100% yes. The reason is because it has taught me so many things that you would never learn in any other place. You learn so many diverse skills, people skills, you learn how construction works, you learn how business works, you learn how to design things in a way that it sells, and you become an engineer as well. It just forces you to learn and combine a wide array of skills that are valuable in so many professional fields. And honestly, these skills are also transferable. The communication and presentation skills that you gain are highly praised by so many people, and it makes you a really strong communicator. I realized that afterwards of presenting so much, so many people have told me that I talk really mature or I talk really straightforward, and I think that is definitely one of the parts that architecture has given me. Architecture is also really easy to move to different careers as well because you have so much knowledge. You can become a graphic designer, film set maker, project manager, construction manager, real estate agent, and so much more. You just need to know that you gain a lot of traits that you can transfer to other careers and apply in your own life that you won't find in any other career. And it gives you experience in emotional and mental challenges. You develop a thick skin, as critics can be brutal and judges may draw on your prints, but it trains you to be firm and open to feedback, even if it may be mean. It's useful when you start working in the actual workplace as well, or life in general. Clients won't always agree to what you would design. I remember one time in my studio that one of my judges really did not like my idea, and I didn't really stick with that. I didn't like the fact that he didn't like my idea, so I actually started convincing him, and it worked. And after that, I received the high distinction, and it was so funny because before he was telling me that my idea was bad, but after that I showed that I actually believed in my idea, it was so funny to see him just give me a high distinction. And I asked him why, and he said he was trying to challenge me and see if I actually wanted to do it this way or if I was just yapping and waffling to make a just random decision. So guys, I really hope all this advice helped you because I wish I knew these things when I started architecture. And if you have any questions, please leave them below in the comments. I'm more than happy to help you. And don't be scared to start architecture. You could always just transfer to another degree if you really hate it that much, but I'm telling you, it is probably going to be the best part of your life doing it. And yes, it's challenging, but if you are someone like me, you will like challenges and you will like learning skills that you won't find anywhere else. And that is one of the best parts of architecture. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and I'll see you in another video.